So here we go then. Welcome to another edition of the recap. And today I'm joined by good old Segs as I get his 5 takeaways from Town's 1-0 defeat against Lincoln City. A bad day at the office at Portman Road, Segs, but it's always good to speak to you. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well. No one ever asked me that, so it's nice.
It's
Nice,
just
polite
polite.
yes once a one.
It's just
Yeah,
polite to ask you.
yeah. But all good, my friend. Of course, a bad day at the office. I want to get onto your 5 takeaways, but a bumper crowd. As a whole, your thoughts?
To be fair, I thought we controlled the game. I just felt like it was just in the final third. Lincoln had everyone back. There was no way we were gonna score really. I mean, the shots we had on target, as soon as it left our player's foot, it just hit one of Lincoln's players in the way. So it was just one of those days, unfortunately. You kind of think before the game we should win this, but Lincoln have done what they come to do really well. So no complaints really. It was just one of those days in the office, and we'll move on. We've got a game Friday. I think Derby will play differently to the way Lincoln did. Lincoln do that kind of game really well. McKenna said it Friday or whenever he had his pre-match conference. So we knew what to expect, and Lincoln just came to Portman Road and did exactly what they said they were going to do, and it worked. So fair play to him. Got no complaints really.
Yeah, I think we've got a credit to Lincoln, and there's going to be teams like that, like Cambridge tried to do that against us, and luckily we were able to get through them. But Lincoln, they had a game plan, and they executed it very well indeed. Let's get to your 5 takeaways then, my friend. Your first takeaway is we can't assume, and there was jokes about from you, yeah, being unbeaten in October, and unbeaten at home all season and all that sort of stuff. 100 points, 100 goals all the time. But yeah, sometimes we can't assume, can we?
No, and that's where I was going with really. I mean, before the game, after the Portsmouth game as well. To be fair, I kind of looked at the fixtures for this month and thought, I don't really see where we're going to drop points from here on out. We had Morecambe, obviously bottom of the table, Cambridge, who are doing all right, but you kind of think we should be beating them, especially at home. Lincoln, we know what happened there. Also, we've still got Port Vale, Derby, Charlton, all those kind of teams you expect really. If we're going to go up, we should be getting 3 points from all of those. So yeah, I know I did say it's going to happen. We're going to get 21 out of 21 points this month. It hasn't happened, and exactly we can't assume. It happened last season. It hasn't happened so much this season, to be fair. I mean, maybe Bolton to an extent, but Barnsley we were unlucky. Plymouth is the only game so far, apart from yesterday, where I thought fair enough we deserved to lose that in terms of like how well we played, especially second half. Plymouth came out and did what they were going to do, and the crowd got behind them and they won. So yeah, like in terms of our season, we can't go into these games assuming we're going to win these because it happened yesterday. I assumed we'd go into the game. We've got enough about us. Eventually, we'd break them down and get a goal or two, like we did against Cambridge. And for whatever reason, like I said, Lincoln did really well. You just assume we'd break through. I remember thinking 60 minutes still, we were 1-0 down. You think, yeah, it's okay. We'll get through these. 70th minute, you made the subs, of course. Subs have been made. Cole Edwards come on. You kind of think, yes, it's all right. We'll be all right. We'll still get through these. 80th minute. Yeah, we'll be all right. It was fine. We'll still get a point at least. And then all of a sudden, 90th minute come on, 7 minutes on the board goes up, and all of a sudden thinking, we're not going to do anything today, are we? And to be fair, you could have been there all day yesterday, and we still wouldn't have scored. But it's the assumption at the moment where we'll break through these teams because we so far we have been that good. It happened last week at Morecambe. I know we had 2 penalties, one was missed, but eventually you do feel like our quality will shine through. But for whatever reason, yesterday Lincoln were just at their best, and they just had every player back, and it worked for them. And they've come away with the 3 points, and again, fair play to them. They've gone back to Sinclair Bank with probably one of their wins of the season. But again, I'm not worried at the moment with Portsmouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth. They're all going to have games like that. It just so happened that it happened to us yesterday. So we move on.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was just one of
But just
those.
don't assume anymore. Don't assume.
Yes, yeah, don't definitely, yeah, because yeah, bumper crowd and all that sort of stuff. You know, Lincoln, they're not a bad side in this division, and of course we've got that horrible bogey record against them in terms of the FA Cup and stuff. Now we've beaten them and stuff, but there's been some bad results against him in the
I
past.
feel like in terms of league, though, that's the first time it's happened at home in League One.
Yes,
Like obviously the FA Cup, we've got the FA Cup bogey against them, but in terms of League One, this is the first time where they've really overcome us. It's always been like the 5-3 just under Lambert away from home. It's always been away from home more.
yeah,
I know we won there last season under Cook, but it feels like more in terms of home games against them. Especially in the league, we've kind of been all right. But yesterday, you know, it's happened. It's done. They've got the 3 points. I say fair play to them, and kind of happy for Mark Kennedy in a way. Obviously, F6 player, so yeah. Again, we move on.
we do indeed. And second takeaway then, my friend. Now I'm looking at the stats: 33 shots, 5 on target. And you were saying that the Lincoln defenders, every shot was just blocked by them. They had one hell of an afternoon defending all of our opportunity. 76 possession. We had 14 corners. And your second takeaway. So this is a long-winded way to your second takeaway, but and it's a debate that's always been happening for us in League One and just general. 20 goalless season striker needed? Question mark. And that was a debate straight away. Probably. I know we've seen Connor Chaplin, we've seen Marcus Arnott scoring the goals, but we're always thinking, is that needed? What do you reckon, then, Segs? That's your second takeaway.
For me personally, no, because this is the first game this season where we haven't scored. It's happened so many times. It happened against Cambridge. We eventually broke through. I feel like at times it will happen. We will score. Just like I said earlier, it just didn't happen yesterday. So in terms of 20 goal striker, I don't think we do need it. I don't feel like we don't, or we do need a 20 goal striker, because Ladapo yesterday, he was still doing the work like he normally does. He was feeding through players. It was just so happened that, like, especially Chaplin and Harness, Lincoln's defense just kind of cut him out, and they did the job well. It doesn't matter if you had Clark Harris. Is it Clark Harris? Yeah, sorry, Clark Harris at Peterborough. If you had him up front yesterday, I don't think he'd have scored, to be honest. Even if he is that kind of 20 goal striker, I don't see how he'd have got through. It's just we just weren't creating the chance because Lincoln was so good effectively at the back. So and we've scored a goal or more every goal of the season so far. It just so happened that we just couldn't break through yesterday, and it's going to happen. It will happen again, but the squad that we have at the moment, we've got the players to score and to win games. It just didn't happen yesterday. And like I said, the times that we did have a shot on target yesterday, there was just a Lincoln defender in the way. They was just got so many in that box when we were attacking, because they knew that's what we were going to do, and it just so happened that just didn't fall right to us. And then, I mean, to be fair, you think sort of Marcus Harness hit over the bar at one point. Maybe a 20 goal striker would have put that in the back of net, but 9 times out of 10, Marcus Harness will be scoring that. Same with Chaplin. It's just I'm not worried by the fact that we didn't score yesterday. It's just how it went.
Yes, just one of those days where everything that was happening, we were creating chances, we just couldn't finish it.
It happens for every bit. Like Man City, they've lost today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So Haaland, I think he had 2 good chances apparently in the first half, and he hasn't put them away. So that's what a 40 goal striker, 50 goal striker this season.
Yeah.
He scored against Liverpool. So it happens. It's just one of those games where it happens, and you just can't do nothing about it. And we'll be back Friday. We could potentially score 2 or 3 against Derby. So it's just I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You never know, do you? It's just the way it happened yesterday is just the way it went, and you can't do nothing about it sometimes. And like Man City is a good proof of that today. Haaland's been on fire ever since he showed up for Man City, and it just didn't happen against Liverpool.
Yeah.
So there's no need to panic. We'll still be fine. We've still got Gassan coming back, and we can strengthen in January if need be. But as things stand, we'll still be there or thereabouts come January, and we'll be there or thereabouts come May. But don't assume that, of course.
Of course. Going back to your first takeaway, of course. And I think just really on Saturday, it just needed to hit someone in the arse, didn't it? Really, just someone just
Yeah,
a shot ricocheting on someone's bum and going there, but it just didn't
we
happen.
had
And
that luck against Cambridge as well. When you think about
yeah,
it, like, all it took was a deflection. Tyrone and John Jules was there, and in the
yeah,
back of the net it was, and all of a sudden Edwards with his we'll call it a shot,
yeah.
sort of, and then we've beaten 3-0. So it's just how it goes sometimes. It just didn't luck wasn't on our side yesterday.
Pretty much, pretty much. And let's get into your third takeaway then, my friends. And now it's always once another debate. Is the right hand side, relied on too much? Now this season, Leif Davis has been fantastic, and I feel we've improved that left side because in the last few years, seeing we won't name the left backs and the left wing side because it's been bad. But this season, Leif Davis has improved that. But I feel, and a lot of other people will feel, yourself putting this down as your next takeaway. Wes Burns, JD, that connection they've got is fantastic, but is it relied on too much? And yeah, expand on that, my friend.
So yeah, I noticed, especially the first half, the number of times the ball went to that right hand side to Burns and Donatian, and Donatian, to be fair to him, didn't have the best of the game yesterday. Probably one of his worst performances in a town shirt, especially this season. So, like, the number of times we went over to that right hand side, and their left back as well. He had pace. There was a number of times where Burns had the ball, and their left back caught up to him and won the ball, put it out for a throw in, whatever. Normally, when Wes Burns has got the ball, you expect him to do something with it. But at times yesterday, um, he kind of, it just wasn't working out. But even still, that left hand side, Leif Davis in plenty of space, and we're still not getting the ball to him. Sam Morsey is a bit of a culprit for that. I feel like he still doesn't really understand that we've got a decent left back now. I mean, he obviously had Thompson and Penny last season, and also I can't remember his name now, the youth player who we had undercooked for a little while.
It's so many, so
Yeah,
many.
yeah, but
No,
his name's
let's not
escaped me.
even. Yeah, it's escaped me too.
He's at Chesterfield now, isn't he? Oh, it's gone. Anyway, but
Oh,
yeah,
Beta Clements, of course.
Clements, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But of course, like we had such a good right hand side last year. We relied on that right hand side so much. Number of goals that we scored from that right hand side last season, and I still feel like we're using that too much still. Whereas we've got a decent left back now. Even with Greg Lee injured, when he comes back, he's still a good replacement for what we had last season. Even if we didn't have Leif Davis, Greg Lee is a good, good left back or left wing back. So I still feel like when we could get the ball to the left, we don't, or if we do, it's taken too long to get there. So I feel like we need to start relying on that left hand side a little bit more, use it a bit more, and when we do, that could become more dangerous than what it has done already. But also at the same time, like Edmondson, I've seen he's got a bit of a stick as well for how he played yesterday. But there's a number of times yesterday where he ran past Davis on the left hand side, but the ball doesn't go to him because Davis has passed it back to Morsey or Evans, for example, and it just hasn't worked out. That left hand side doesn't get used the way it probably should be at the moment. I feel like that's something that we need to improve on in terms of improving our season. Because if you get that left hand side worked out and dangerous like the right hand side was last season, you've got both sides then ready and raring to go and cause a big threat. I mean, because yesterday that right hand side with Burns, that was marked out. They knew what they were doing on that right hand side with Burns and Nashon, and it's shown. But we just didn't use that left hand side effectively like we could do. So that's just one improvement that I think that we could work on so far.
I think so too. Because yeah, Leif Davis for me has been fantastic. But yeah, I think if he can't get the ball and can't run down that flank, then he can't do much with it. But I want to see him have an absolute pop somewhere. I think he needs a goal. It'd be good to see him score. Fourth takeaway then, Segs. McKenna can lose. He's cool. Expand on this. When I saw that as part of your takeaway, I was like, I want to know what Segs is going with this. So take it away, my friend.
Pretty simple, to be fair. Normally, when you see McKenna after a game, he's quite calm, he's quite collected. When we win, he's still quite calm, he's still quite reasonable. When we lose, he can be quite calm, quite collected. I know it happened once against Barnsley when he had a bit of a go at the officials. But yesterday, I kind of noticed that, especially during the last 20 minutes, you could see on the touchline he was getting a bit agitated, he was getting a bit riled up. There was one point when he took Nashon off. He was telling Nashon, go off that side. And then all of a sudden, the board come up, and Donatian started running towards like the bench. And then McKenna again was like, "No, that way." get off, the closest side. And I think as we saw yesterday, and it was a frustrating game. Everyone was frustrated. The way the game went, the way that Lincoln played, it was very frustrating in terms of, we couldn't score, and they were effective at what they did, and the way they scored as well was quite frustrating, to be fair. So I think, McKenna, it got quite frustrated yesterday. It wasn't working out the way that we wanted it to, and you could see it. Like how he was on the touchline, you could see, like I say, when Donation was subbed off, he was getting a bit agitated. And again, I think there's a few pictures as well that I've seen anyway that was, you could see McKenna's face was a bit sort of riled up and angry and sort of frustrated by how the game's gone. I think that pretty much matched the way that the supporters felt, to be honest. It was just, again, it's just one of those games, can't do nothing about it. But you normally he keeps his cool and he keeps calm, and you can kind of tell that he's quite reasonable about it. But at times yesterday, you could sense there was a bit of a annoyance about him, which you don't really see much from McKenna. So even he can get sort of really riled up, which I don't think we'll see too much this season. To be fair, I think he's sort of well-rounded guy. He knows what he's doing, and he keeps it under his, keeps it to himself. But I think yesterday, especially, he felt the same as what we did, and that there was just a general frustration everywhere, and like he just lost it. He didn't lose it, but he lost his self personnel, let's say.
Yeah, I think he's probably just thinking like, how we not scored a goal from all these chances is just one of those days, all that possession. We just couldn't get through. But just one of those days, bad day at the office and all that sort of stuff. Final takeaway then, my friend. I mean, he's got to be mentioned. Of course, we've got to mention the 27,000 once again in League One, which is fantastic. Part of the pack up PR and all that. But one man who was in the building for the first time in a very long time. I think it's been a decade since he last was at Portman Road. And of course, Pablo Carnago. What a man! What a player! Great to see so many great pictures. One of yours, Segs, as well, with you and Katie. And family and stuff as well, and just seeing so many different people wanting to have a picture of Pablo. And I think Pablo probably surprised of how much people love him, because he was just such a great player. And it was great to see people singing. We saw a Spain flag as well. But Segs, it was great to see him back at Portman Road.
Yeah, and that's why I chose him. Really, it was touching, really, how people still find him so iconic, and how people still relate how loved he was. And sort of like when I got in the queue, I think we queued for probably 25 minutes, half an hour, I think. So you can tell how, and to be fair, he was taking his time with the fans, meeting them and everything like that. But to queue for half an hour, 25 minutes, whatever it was, it still shows how loved he was, and how much of a town icon he is. Obviously, like I said, we queued for 25 minutes, but we didn't get into the queue about quarter to two, sorry. So however many people queued before then, you can see how much of a loved guy he is at the club. Obviously, he had his interview at half time, and like you said as well, we chanted during the first half at one point. So yeah, just it's good to see how loved he is, and still how much of an icon he is at the club, and I hope he comes back again. And let's say you mentioned, I didn't want to mention the 27,000 because that's pretty much a standard this season anyway.
Yeah.
It's we'll get that. We'll get 25, 26, 27 every game now, won't we? Really. So it's that wasn't really worth mentioning for me in my eyes. It was, there was so much else happening yesterday that's a bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we're now just going to get used to it, because we're town fans are filling that stadium without even needing to worry about what's going to be on the football pitch, because they know it's going to be great. So yeah, it's always good. But Segs, 5 great takeaways from Towns, 1-0 defeat against Lincoln City. But we move on to this week. Of course, we've got the PABLO Trophy game on Tuesday against Cambridge. McKenna's already said it's going to be a lot of changes, but Derby County on Friday. We're going to bring you loads of different content, loads of videos for that game, live on Sky and all that. How are you feeling going into that, Segs? Are you into this TV curse and all that, or you just, it's one of those things?
I don't know, really. I mean, last 2 games I was on Sky under the game change a lot. We've lost, haven't we? So you kind of think, oh, is it still a curse? I don't know. I don't believe in curses really, but there's definitely something there. But at the same time, we've got to bounce back. We've got to forget. We've got to forget what the past. We take each game as it comes, and if we beat Derby, then we're back on a Saturday's kind of forgotten, and then we've got Port Vale to look forward to. So I think we'll just wait and see what happens really in terms of whether it's on Sky and whether it's a curse, because I think it's at some point it's got to change, and why not change it Friday?
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure. I did say I was going to mention it, but I'm not 100% sure we should be playing in black for a home game. But I understand why. It's all commercial reasons, and I get that. But it'll be a shame not seeing us in blue on Friday. Even so, it'd be nice to see us in black shirt because we haven't seen it yet. It'd be nice to see us win in the black shirt. To be fair.
Yeah.
And
break the curse.
Break the curse.
curse.
Oh, yeah. Break the curse. But we've got to do it at some point because we've got Exeter coming up as well. So, and with the World Cup as well, you never know how many times we're going to be on Sky this season. So we're kind of the team to show at the moment, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
So the curse needs to be broken at some point. Let's do it Friday. Let's bounce back, all guns blazing. Just go out there, just think, bugger it, and beat Derby. And I think Derby are nothing special this season. They're like us 4 years ago, really. The fans expect them to go back up like we did, and all of a sudden, reality check, it's not working out for them. I know for us it happened a little bit later in the season, but they're going to get found out, I think, and what a good way to do it on Sky.
Indeed, my friend. Indeed. Well, it's been a pleasure, my friend, as always. We've had so many great thoughts already, but as always, I like to always ask: any other business, anything else you want to note?
Not that I can think of. No, nothing at the moment. I think I've covered it all.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. I like it. Well, thanks for joining me, Segs. Thanks everyone for watching. And of course, look out for all the other content that I bring you throughout the week. Bye for now.